Let's talk about slope-intercept form of a line. So the idea here is you have, if you start with the slope formula, you get point slope form by just rearranging that a little bit. But point slope form isn't super great to just leave the formula in. For one thing, depending what point you pick as the point, you have infinitely many possible equations for any one line. So we'd like to have like, this is the equation of this line, not just an equation, right? So if you solve for y and simplify from point slope form, no matter which point you picked, you'll always get the same result. So you'll get y equals mx, so still the slope getting multiplied by x, and then there'll be some real number b stuck on the end of that, added or subtracted. And it turns out that number b is the y-intercept. It's what happens if you substitute 0 for x. That's what y equals. So this is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Either one or both of m and b could be 0. Y, of course, has to be there. So first of all, just looking at this, recognizing the slope and y-intercept. When you have the whole thing, the number being multiplied by x, and then the other number, the number right there next to the x being multiplied by x is the slope. Whatever's being added or subtracted is the y-intercept. So here, negative 2x plus 7, slope is negative 2, y-intercept is 7. 2x plus 3, slope is 2, y-intercept is 3. But then we get to ones where it feels like maybe something's missing. So in math, generally, if something is not there, sometimes that means that it's really not there. Often it means that it's either 0 if it's something that's not there that should have been added, or 1 if it's something that should have been multiplied that's not there. So in this case, the x plus 2, it feels like there's no m, but that doesn't mean there's no slope. What we have here is a slope of 1, because this would be 1 times x going on here, but the 1 just didn't have to be written. Y-intercept 2. Negative x plus 2, that's a slope of negative 1 with a y-intercept of 2. Then we have y equals 2x. So now we have the number that's being multiplied by x. So we have the slope, but what's being added on? Well, in this case, 0. But a y-intercept of 0 is still very much a y-intercept. It's a completely different thing from there not being a y-intercept. Y equals x. Now we have a slope of 1 combined with a y-intercept of 0. Then y equals 3. Well, now it feels like, well, the whole x, there's not even an x piece. Surely here there's no slope to speak of, but we could still think of this as 0 times x plus 3. So the slope is 0. That's a horizontal line. One of the things you should know about a horizontal line, you should know that when you see y equal to a number, that's a horizontal line, and you should know that the slope of a horizontal line is 0. And then the 3 is the y-intercept. All right, then the next couple examples, the next one is just needs some work to turn it into this form. So if I solve for y equals negative 2x plus 8, divide everything by 4, then y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2, and the slope is negative 1/2, y-intercept is 2. But then what about the x equals 3? Well, now there's no y equals at the beginning of it. If there's no y equals at the beginning of it, it doesn't fit this. So this is a vertical line, and this one actually has no slope, or we would say an undefined slope, and no y-intercept. It's not a 0 or a 1 or anything. It's not any real number. This is a vertical line, doesn't come anywhere near the y-axis, doesn't touch across the y-axis anywhere, and it has that undefined slope. All right. So then the other thing we're going to look at here is writing an equation in slope-intercept form. So if you're given the slope and intercept, you just plug them in. Slope -3, that's the m. Y-intercept 3, that's the b. So y equals -3x plus 3. Something to note on these, by the way, is it's not about the order. So this could be y equals 3 minus 3x. That would still also be perfectly correct. Which number goes where is about whether it's next to the x. So b plus mx, mx plus b. The slope is what's getting multiplied by x. The y-intercept is what's being added or subtracted separate from the x. Then the next example, slope 2/3 and point 012. Well, if you recognize that point with the x coordinate of 0 means that this is the y-intercept. So that's b and m. Then we have y equals 2/3 x plus 12. Right? But our next example, slope 3 and point -23. This, we don't have the y-intercept. So how do we find b? There's a couple different ways you can do this. One is to think of it, so we have the slope m, and so we need to come up with a b, so we should be able to take 3, so that's the slope. So we have mx plus b, y equals mx plus b. I should be able to take 3 times any x value plus whatever b is and get the y value that goes with that x value. So the point here gives us an x and y value that are on the line. So I should be able to take 3 times that x value plus b and get the y value of 3. So I have an equation then that I can solve for b. And that's not a division by y, that's just saying that that's y. 3 times -2 is -6 plus b equals 3. Add 6 to both sides. B is 6, and then go back and plug that in. So now we have y equals 3x plus 6. The other way is to start with point slope form. So point slope form, you take y minus the y value of the point equals m, the slope, 3 times x minus the x value. Minus a negative is plus, so just opposite sign of whatever the coordinate is in the point is what gets combined with the y or the x. So y minus 3 equals 3 times x plus 2, and then I just solve that for y. So y minus 3 equals 3x plus 6. There's the 6 that we saw before, not a coincidence. It's ultimately the same calculations involved. Adding 3 to the 6, we get the y equals 3x plus 9 again. All right. The next one was slope 0 and 0.4 -7. I could do that same process, but if I recognize slope 0 means it's a horizontal line. Horizontal means that the equation is y equals whatever the y coordinate is on any point. So y equals -7. But if I plugged in y equals 0x plus b, well, that just means y equals b, and that tells you that b is whatever the y coordinate is at any point is also b. So you get then -7 equals b, y equals -7, however your thought process goes with that. Or in point slope form, y plus 7 equals 0 times x minus 4. 0 times anything makes that whole result 0. So y plus 7 equals 0. Then that gives the y equals -7. Right? So that's slope-intercept form.